everyone. Welcome back to Quick Fix. I am joined today by the one, the only Zach Denya, aka Zed. What's up, Brenna?
What's up, bud? How's it going?
It's going good. You're one of the hottest working men here, so you're always here. I like to say that I work hard, but compared to the hours that you guys put in, I don't know if I can compete.
Oh, that's true.
But you're nothing without me. I'm nothing without you. I keep my job, you keep your job, but vice versa.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how's everything been going? How's scrims looking?
Good, bud. I mean, scrims have always looked good with every roster we've had, but yeah, just keep hammering away at it. Hopefully, one day convert it to like a championship. That'd be nice. That's the goal, right? So.
Yeah, so before we talk about the actual team, I want to give, people that are listening a chance to know Zach and not Zed, which I feel like is a cool thing that I'm trying to do on here where, you can learn about you by watching, videos, or you can learn about, Nero by watching videos, but you don't know Dill.
Yeah.
Nero. People don't know Zach, they know Zed. And I know they kind of blend a little bit. But let's start things off with, your career and what brings you here. You were obviously a pro in the past. Not so long ago is when you kind of ended your pro career, but where did your professional college career really start?
Honestly, it was back in Ghost. I wasn't really doing anything at the time. I was finishing school. I was like 16. And I think I came across a video of Sculpt like a year prior. So I kind of followed like competitive Call of Duty. Like I remember watching all the events in Ghost. But at the time did actually do it myself, did give it a go. And it was still Ghost where back then you could go on Twitter and you could just find a random 8 lobby. That's kind of where I really started. I would go on Twitter, got my gamer tagged out, and people would invite me and I'd just play. And it's just I didn't really have a group or so to start with or play. I'd done a little bit of game battles with my cousin and my friends, but apart from that, nothing too crazy. And then it really kicked off in Advanced Warfare. I attended my first event. I met Shorty, who's now on our academy team. One of my first ever teammates, still one of my best teammates as well. I think there's a statistic somewhere that apart from 1 year, we team with each other every single year of my career, which pretty insane to think about. But yeah, that was kind of really the start, and all kind of thanks to watching, coming across the Scump video and kind of led me down this path. Otherwise, I don't really know what I would have been doing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because, obviously when you're growing up, people have these outlandish, career choices that they think they're going to do. Like me, I thought I was going to be in the MLB. I don't know what I was thinking, but, I was set. I was like, I'm going to be that. But, at age 16, call it, you were like, okay, I really enjoy doing this. Did you see a career in it, or did you just start doing it because it was fun?
At the time, I did see a career because, especially in Europe, didn't really exist. Obviously, you have Tom, Swan, Judd, Madcap, and Josh, the people at the top of Europe. But as far as I was aware at the time, it wasn't something that you were making a lot of money doing. They were winning a lot, so I can imagine they were sustaining themselves pretty well. But in terms of actually making a lot of money, nowadays, that just didn't exist. So there wasn't a career to aim for. It kind of just happened for everybody. And I was lucky enough to be right kind of in line. I turned 18, everything kind of happened so fast. Yeah, and that was it.
So when, Call of Duty and esports in general sounded off, and I've made this, not even an analogy, but I've, brought it back to this before, it was going to an event and sharing a hotel room with 15 people just so you can, make it there. And, if you were lucky, you had an organization sponsor you, but that was few and far between to do. And, they were a little function hall, if that, or a room in a function hall with metal chairs and a couple computers and a whole lot of passion. But so how did you see, the scene as a whole progress? Is it when you, kind of made your breakthrough into the CDL is when you actually were like, holy shit, there's actual money on venues and all that stuff?
It was more so when I joined my first organization, which, funny enough, is an organization called Oxygen Esports now. they just started when I joined up, and now they're like a big powerhouse in the UK, doing really well. Joe and Kieran, the owners, previous owners, kind of whatever's happened there, great friends of mine, and they kind of really started me off, like showing that support. And that's when the CWL became a thing, and we ended up qualifying through the online qualifier with Excel into the Pro League. That was like the first time I was like, I was flying to Germany. We're going to ESWC because we were all qualified because we were in the Pro League. And I don't know, it's just like flying about all these places. It's all covered. I was like, wow, this is like, can really do something with this. At the time, as I said, like Excel was still very early on, so we didn't earn a salary. It was kind of, I was in the Pro League, but still working a normal job. And I worked at Boots, which is like the UK version of like Walgreens. Like they're both, the companies own each other. But so that was tough. But the end of stage one, I think I made like £3,000 or £4,000 to show my mum that this all come from just me playing on my computer.
Like there is some money.
Yeah, there's some form of cash. And then it wasn't until stage two where our roster got bought out by a team called Hyper Games, which is a French team. And I made my first like official salary, which was about $700 a month. But that allowed me to quit my job and do it full time. And most people that know me know that that team was pretty good online. I think we were like 14-0 at one point. So yeah, I definitely saw like at that point I was like, holy shit, like might actually be good enough to do this. And yeah, definitely some like rocky roads along the way, but yeah, I'm happy with kind of the way it went in the end.
So what was the last team you played, like a CDL team played for? Was it Paris?
It was London, literally. Yeah. Yeah, London picked me up and joined that team for a couple of months.
So that was the last pro team that you played for, and then after that you made the transition into coaching.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people realize, and I know a lot of people don't know kind of how you got to Boston Breach.
They did.
Do you want to share a little bit about the process and actually ironing out what you were going to do post being a pro, and then kind of making your way to being the coach of Boston Breach?
Yeah, I mean, when I retired, it was honestly kind of a scary moment for me. I just bought a house with my wife. So obviously now we have a mortgage. We had a dog, so life's expensive. And I wasn't someone who I done well for myself, definitely. I mean, I have a house now and stuff, so that's my way of showing what I did. But I'm not someone who made $1 million in prize money or anything like that. So I didn't have like tons of cash just stored away. I had enough to get me where I am. But so for me, when I retired, it was scary because I knew I could play challengers because there was no money. Player like me, like I was 24, like people aren't interested in that. Like they're after the new best thing. So yeah, definitely a scary time for me. I tried out content creation, and like just wasn't really it for me. When you play Call of Duty at such a high level, nothing else could compare to it. So like trying to create content around something that you don't enjoy is incredibly difficult. For me, I just couldn't do it. And that's when I decided I'm just going to give coaching. Like I always knew I was a smart player. Definitely on the smarter end compared to some of these players around, but never knew how I'd be as a coach, so decided to give it a go. I knew Denz had like dabbled in it a little bit, so I was like trying to like have us together. And that's when for like a week or two, I was actually coaching the Kansas City Pioneers team. And at the time it was Doug, funny enough. It was Doug's team. And I coached there for like a week or two, but like I knew like my heart wasn't in it with that like whole process. Especially because I couldn't have Denver with me. I'd spoke to Kansas City, and they'd offered me a spot, but I didn't really want to take it without Denz. So I ended up kind of putting that to the side. But at the same time, while I was coaching them, I ended up reaching out to Adam Morris because in the previous year when I was in Challengers, I talked to Adam a lot about joining Oxygen as a Challenger team. And it would have been like me, Benj, Jared. You know, we were okay. We're pretty good. And that fell through because I joined London. I think I had my third or fourth tour with Adam. Like, we were really starting to get somewhere. And then I had to tell him, hey, London, they would like me, blah, blah, blah. It was a pleasure talking to you, like, get to know you again. Because many people don't know Adam was with Rec when we were with Reciprocity. But I ended up emailing him again and asking him if he still wanted the Challenger team, but this time I'd be the coach. And like me and Dad would be the coaches. And he actually emailed me back. And straight away, it was the weirdest reply, because at the same time, there was a rumor of the Optic Envy merge going on. And he replied, I don't know what it was exactly, but it was like, I'd love to talk to you. Things definitely like changed and developed since we last spoke. Let's have a meeting next week. And then I received an NDA, which is weird. But at the time, it's just very weird. Straight away I said to Dad, I said, I don't want to get my hopes up because I've learned in this industry, that's the last thing you should do, is get your hopes up, because things can change like day by day. But I said to Dad, I had a feeling like this is the 12th team. Like, at the time, nobody knew. There was a rumor of Washington coming in. Dens was in talks with the Washington management to become a GM, and that was my other way to become a coach. But I was like, seriously, Dad, I don't know what else it could be. Like, why would he make me sign an NDA? Like, there's nothing he could tell me that could cause any problems. And that's when we joined the call, and he basically told us without telling us with 12th team. He didn't want to get our hopes up again because it wasn't finalised, but it was very close at the time to being like the final say if it's done. And then within that week or two, everything happened so fast. Before you know it, Dad was the general manager and I was the coach. At the time, it was the best kept secret. Like in Call of Duty, but obviously things started to come out. People started to know. The rosters started to come out. Yeah, that led us all here.
All right. So I didn't know that part. That's really cool that it was that cryptic at first, where it was just like, hey, like I thought it was along the lines of they reached out to Dens privately, and then he was just like, all right, they have a guy, let me reach out, then reach out to you. I had no idea it was like you proactively going, for a challenger spot or a coach spot, and then like, I can only imagine that oh shit moment for you when you joined that call and you're just like, wait, it is.
Yeah.
And like, there could be a billion coaches for this team that due to being persistent and, have that outline relationship and making a good impression on someone, it was yours.
Yep.
And, you and I have got to close over the past couple of years, but I think that you as a coach or just someone in general as an organization, you bring a level of like fun to wherever you are. And it's like at the end of the day, it's video games. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah. I know it's a performance industry. You don't perform like whatever, but like it's supposed to be fun. Like this is a dream job for a lot of people. And I think that's extremely cool how, you got in here. I know that when everything was going on, this was before I even worked here. Like I always knew, Oxygen existed and, I knew Murph from mutual friends. For people that don't know, Murph's the co-founder, CEO. And I kept saying to man, I was just like, please, guys, like do something. Like get that team. I would love a Call of Duty League team. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. And then things started progressing. I'm like, wait a second. I got to the point where I was going on like legal websites and typing in Call of Duty League and seeing what new patents would pop up. I was just waiting to see. And then it all started making sense. This page popped up called Boss of Breach, and I forget who tweeted it out. but it was extremely cryptic, and it was like, oh, Christmas they tweeted. It was like it was from Home Alone, like Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year, whatever. And then people started following the account. And I saw like Zinni follow the account, and then TJ followed the account. I was like, what is going on? What's going on? And then it all happened. I was like, wow, this is real. And then I reached out, I was like, hey, like, I know how to do a lot of stuff. I'm like, cool, let's meet. And it all worked out. And, it's extremely cool that, a lot of teams wanted this spot. We were able to pull it off. And selfishly, it's in my own backyard. I grew up in the city. And it's just really cool to see that.
The crazy thing is, I was in split minds between sending that email to Adam. It wasn't till my wife was like, "What have you got to lose?" Like, because I was like, "What if they're not interested? It's just a waste of my time. We're not interested in challenges anymore." She was like, "But what if they are? They go ahead and just the worst they can say is no." Looking back on it, that's like a 1 in a million chance.
Yeah.
I truly, it's going to sound weird, but I truly don't believe I would have got the coaching spot if I didn't send that email.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fact.
Adam probably wouldn't have known I was even coaching. There would have been a lot more people messaging Adam and Murph going for the job. And the team at the time probably would have had the same coverage. And me and Dad, we weren't friends with Teach methods like Europe and America. Obviously, we knew of each other, but I think if you were to ask like Zin today, it'd probably say me and Dad. I thought we'd build a good relationship with Zin. Yeah, just a crazy scenario that I'm grateful for sure.
It's obvious that as you're talking that you are very close with Dens.
Yeah.
What's the story of you two? How did you become so close?
We would never go into events as an international player, like, especially when I was going to events. I feel like it was always Europe and Australia and like APAC and then America. And like, we would always hang out with the Australians, the banter, just the sense of humor was very similar. So I would say I was friends with Dens, but I was like, I could sit in a room and have a laugh a bit, right? And it wasn't till rec where after World War II on Unilad, me, Alex, Shaw and Wuskins, we knew it was going 5v5 and we were like, okay, we want to stick, but let's look for one player. And then Alex decided to leave us. Still don't know to this day kind of why. I think B-Sport, Josh kind of brainwashed him to leave us. So we ended up like going to, looking at APAC and offering Shocks at Den's a spot, like with our team. But at the time they didn't want to, like, Shock said no straight away because he wanted to carry on with university, which is, fair enough. Everyone has their different goals in life. And then Denz was like, well, I want to play in America. I don't want to play in Europe. And then that's when we found Rec. We actually had a manager, which was Swizz at the time. And me and Swizz, like, sometimes never saw eye to eye, but one thing he was good at was, like, the job, like, the connections. He would always find some way to go, right, to every team he had, which you got to be had to. And he found Rec, and it was, Chad. Like, I know Adam was with them, but we didn't see Adam too much. And it was mainly Chad, and Chad was like, Swizz would relay the message, like, oh yeah, you guys have been living in Vegas, you're going to be making this much. We were getting paid, like, in your visas. We were like, this is too good to be true. This doesn't happen in God. Like, no one gets this, like, lucky. Because at the time, I mean, the salary of Rec was probably more than my entire family combined per month. So you can imagine for 20-year-olds, like, this is incredible. And then that's when we moved into the house, and that's when I really got to know Dance. I was always closer with Wuskins. Me and Brad had a great relationship. But I feel like when Dylan joined the team, like, me and Brad were still really good friends, but just I'm not going to say, like, it might sound weird, but, like, the times people went to bed and stuff like that. Like me and Dens would always be early, Brad and Dylan would always be late. So at 9 a.m. it's only me and Dens awake. So it wasn't like I was forced to like become really close with Dens, but it just happened naturally. You know, spending so much time together, and yeah, then we just saw eye to eye on a lot of things, trusted each other, and then that's when we went to Paris. Yeah, definitely grateful for my friendship with Denzel. He was a groomsman of my wedding this year, which was cool. Yeah, we spent a lot of time together and enjoyed some good memories. So
Totally. Yeah, that's cool. When you were, you were saying when you were on rec, you were, give or take 21, and you had a salary that you've never seen before in your family. You were making more than, your family combined. How were you with your money as a 21-year-old?
I feel like any 21-year-old living in Vegas. Spent a lot of time at the casinos. I was definitely better than some people. The one thing my mum always told me, and I'll never forget, was, you could do whatever you want with your money, but at the end of it, just have your own house. Something she did when she had her first kid, my brother. She had to give up her mortgage, choose kid over mortgage. So she rent still with the government, the UK. So, she regrets that she had to couldn't do both. Obviously, she would pick her kids a million times out of a million. But she just knew how hard it was, raising all them kids while having to pay rent, not owning your own home. So that's one thing she always told me was make sure you can buy your own house. When this is all said and done, own your own house. Which, ironically, I did.
Yeah. Very nice house, Spip.
Yeah, it's nice.
You just live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we don't know. It's nice. I just at the game, do everyone. So yeah, had fun with my money, but also saved a lot. So,
Do you think the players nowadays, truly understand the value of money?
I don't. I've had this conversation with a few people. I mean, these guys, they're 18 and 19. The first contract they're being given is 6 figures. That's just, like I said, when I played, I was paying for nothing. Paying for 50 quid a month. So I think that's just a generational thing, and I think that definitely affects the mental of these players. Sometimes I think the players in the league could be more grateful for what they have. But you can't blame them because they've never had nothing. They've never played for nothing. So they don't know that. And that's what, as a coach, I've got to remember that these guys, they did play the way I had to. So, yeah, definitely affects them.
Do you think it would be beneficial for pros, we'll say your guys, for instance, to have someone come in and teach them, financial literacy or just understand things? Do you think that I feel like there's a lot that esports is doing as a whole to kind of make sure their players are okay. There's sports psychologists now, there's people that put them on diets, stuff like that, really help them, kind of keep their mental, their body, everything intact. But I feel like, the money side of things and the uncertainty of tomorrow is something that a lot of these guys, the knowledge is something that they lack.
Yeah, 100%. I think some players are very lucky. They have a very good support system. I look at someone like Hermit, his family, they support him a lot. I know his mum definitely guides him in the right direction, which I think is needed for these young players. It's easy to these guys just to go and spend money they don't care because they're so young, they're so immature, they don't know what's coming. And me now, I'm 25, I have a dog, I have the mortgage, got a wife, I have an electric bill, and let me tell you that massive electric bill ain't nice.
Do you have electric heat?
I do.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
And some months my bill's $600 a month. just for electric.
And then on top of it, the AC can give out, the pool can break,
Yeah,
the steps out front can crack.
It's definitely going on. The AC is broken, so I didn't understand how expensive AC is until a couple months ago. And that's what these players don't realize. It's all good now. Like, you make so much money, you can buy anything you want, but life hits you fast. It hits you hard. So I always try. I give them tips. Save your money. One rule I always had as a player was it was a 90-10 rule. You'd save 90%, you'd spend 10% on a present for yourself. So at Miami, in rec, we made 20 grand each. I spent 2 grand on myself. Whatever it was, whether it be a Louis Vuitton bag, I have a few of those. Just different things to show the progress I made as a player. But then 18 grand straight into savings.
Like, I don't think you have to be a hermit.
No.
Like, you don't have to house everything.
No.
Like you said, treat yourself a little bit. You worked hard.
Yep.
You can buy yourself a little gift. If you really want to get that, delivery service that day, treat yourself. Like, that's all good. But it's when you're pissing through everything, / like not putting taxes away, like not prepping for the future. Like, it gets scary to me as someone who's older. Because, when I was a lot of these guys' age, I was working in a deli making like $8.50 an hour. Like, that's what I do when I didn't have money to do shit. I think I was getting, like, on a good week, like $210 a week. And to me, that was great. But I worried for a lot of that. And I know that they will, not even just our guys, but like in general, they will understand it at some point. Right now, they're so focused on what's going on. But I just hope they're ready.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even someone like me, I was spending, I must have been spending a lot of money, because by the end of it, I was like, where's all that money I made? I worked out the total I made with all my salaries. I made 150,000 in prize money. Obviously, you got to tax everything, but with the prize money and all the salaries I made a lot of money. And I was like, where the fuck is all that got? So I do try and give you guys tips. Something me and Dad's got into during Paris, like the COVID years, was stocks. We learned a lot about that, me, Dad, and Josh. And that was actually Novus, who is the general manager of 100 Thieves, who actually got us kind of into all that. And I owe a lot to him, really, because I made quite a bit of money, which in the end ended up paying for my house. So, shout out Novus, good guy.
Good stuff. What's a day in the life of a Call of Duty coach?
In season or off season?
In
season?
Yeah. I don't want to know how long you're, pantsless in the off season. It's like, what the...
I wake up on a normal day, 10:30, 11 a.m.
That's incredible, man. I'm in the wrong title word.
Yeah. Head to the facility. We have about a 20-minute drive. So we drive to the facility. We're normally here by 11:30. We start practice at 2, so it's kind of just, some days we might go over VOD. Some days I like to just let the guys, most days I like to let the guys just like relax. Something I've always advocated for in my teams is like spending time together that isn't just in scripts. It'd be weird to just show up at 1:30, 1:45 and it'd be in a script 30 minutes later. So I like the guys to like come here, like vibe together, listen to music, chill out for a bit. I think that definitely helps. That's something that we had in our rec team, so I definitely like that. And then from 2 till 4:30, we have our first script. Then we have a little break, 15, 30 minutes. Then we have our second script from about 4:35 till like, can go as late as 9 o'clock. And then we head home. We're home by 9:30. And then normally just bullshit for about 2-3 hours. Do whatever, watch streams. If it's like CDL game days, we watch the matches. I like to watch the flank. I only watch the flank if we win. If we lose, I don't watch the flank. Don't want to hear it. And yeah, just try to perfect the craft every day. I mean, we're doing that 6 days a week, so it's long hours. I mean, I know we do get to wake up late. Damn, it's long hours. But when you're coming in at 11 o'clock, and by the time you leave, the sun's gone down. 9 p.m. Like everything's closed.
It could get depressing, I feel like, too.
Yeah, especially if you lose it. I think that if you're putting in, 6 days a week, that long of a day every day, and you're losing, and you can't figure out what, I think definitely could get mentally taxing for sure.
Yeah. So long hours. You're older now. You're still young, but you're getting older. You have a wife and a dog back home. How difficult is it, in season, not being with her and him, as much as you want to? Just, you have to be boots on the ground with the team.
Yeah, definitely hard. I mean, like you said, now I'm getting older. Obviously, as you said, I live in the middle of nowhere, so for my wife, it's kind of difficult. The house is relatively big, so her looking after that and like cleaning it and everything all by herself does get tough, especially with her job as well. But yeah, man, I mean, one day, I'd always like to work from Boston, but one day I would like to be remote. I want to start a family one day. I don't want to wait till the last minute to do that. But for the time being, just got to keep grinding away. I mean, the perks of having this job has allowed me to live a pretty happy life. Kind of do whatever we want, kind of wherever we want. Like, there's no really restrictions. So that's kind of the trade-off, which I'm happy to do at the moment. But yeah, long term, definitely something to think about.
Yeah. From the outside looking in, it probably looks sick. You get to travel all these places and whatnot. Are you sick of flying?
I enjoy flying. I mean, especially, I've done it so much now. I've been on hundreds of flights now that I figured out how to sleep. So it just, to me, doesn't really affect me too much.
Can you give me a point on how you would sleep?
Shoes have got to come off.
Real? Oh, that's criminal.
Yeah, no, shoes have to come off.
You got dogs out on the plane?
Some such, sure, but dogs have to come off. Or you wear, something I've been doing recently is I wear Crocs or slippers,
Okay.
like Uggs. You just need to be comfortable. Like when you're sitting in these trainers, like, you're never going to fall asleep. Which again, you're better with your trainers on, it will work, right?
Everybody's taking pictures. You sit there in your boxes and wait.
I mean, I'll buy it. You look like, but yeah, and then the only way I can fall asleep is to have no headphones. I think it's a big myth to have headphones in, watch a movie, try and fall asleep, but you'll never fall asleep. Like movie headphones in. So, and if you do try and do that, whatever you watch, it has to be very low volume. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I mean, I can just fall asleep straight away now. That's great.
Good. I cannot. I can't spit. I'm very uncomfortable. I can imagine you're about to slow this but while I was getting my knees fucking gym and it stinks. So new addition to the roster. We have Kyle, aka Kremp, who's joining us on the main roster as an SMG. Really fast player, really cracked by a young, high sailing. He just started scrimming with the guys yesterday. How's he looking? How's he feeling? How are you feeling about it?
Looks good, man. Yeah. Obviously hard to judge off one day. Although the day he had was pretty fucking good. People always ask me how do you think it's gonna go? Like, do you think it's gonna be good enough? Like, but at the end of the day, I trust Joe, Dylan, and Ben to slot him in the team. I trust myself, Josh, and Dens to, I trust our coaching style and the way we go about things to really elevate him to the next level. I feel like you've seen that with, you look at someone like Dill. Dill's crazy, man. Dill's really good. I think that's a testament to your own ability, but also the direction we like to push it. I feel like you're going to see the same with Kyle. I think over time he's going to get better and better. And hopefully is with Boston for a long time. Hopefully we can bring some championships here.
Oh, yeah, pretend to see him, he played on for people that don't know, played on the academy with, it was Doug, Ghosty, and Shawnee.
Yep.
Back then he played as, when did he play as last year? Kywin, I believe it was. They just had 5 minutes, yeah. They had a couple of names, but really made his mark in the Challengers World, and, he got his call, so very excited for him, so chill up, Kyle. If you're watching this, you already saw the Kyle episode, so that's it. That's the guy.
That was great. You guys are going to get to know him. And something we want to do more, especially me as a coach. I saw my career compared to like all Zinni's, obviously with Zinni's retirement and stuff, and brand's important, and like getting yourself out there and set yourself up for the next step, because this isn't forever. So hopefully bring these guys out their shell, push them to do some more content for everybody.
That's the thing. They have big personality, all of them, and a lot of people don't know that. So get them out of the shell, show them to the people. Would be loved. I want to play one game with you, and then we'll wrap things up. So I'm going to do a little cop or drop, if you would. I'm going to name 2 players that are in the league. You have to pick one to have on your roster out of these players. Okay, cool. Number 1, Shotzi or Abizi?
Abizi.
Celium or Kleenex?
So.
Scrap or Draza?
Scrap.
Envoy or Hook?
Envoy.
Ghosty or Standy?
Ghosty.
Yeah. Quick answers right there. Nice. All right, last thing we'll do, and then we'll wrap it. One thing I'm doing with guests going forward is you get to ask me one question.
I get to ask you what question?
You get to ask me one question.
One question only?
Yep, just one. Yeah. Could be about anything. And if I can't answer it, I will.
Who's your favorite franchise team in Boston?
Like traditional sports and esports? Just esports?
Yeah, you go to what team? What esport?
I can't answer that.
You can't?
I mean, I work for 2 great relevant organizations, and I love them both equally. So I'm going to give you a chance to ask me another question that's not going to make me lose my job.
Okay. Did you see yourself, before you joined Boston, working as like the creative director of like content?
No. I always knew that I understood it more than majority of people. Like, I just have an eye for, like, when things get talked about, there's a content opportunity there. When I see something on TV, I put a spin on it. Like, I can, if you drop something on me, I was like, hey, I need a video done in an hour, go. I can come up with multiple ideas. I knew I always had the creative mindset to do it. I never thought I would be in a position where I have a director role of an esports organization. I always loved the video game industry, so I thought, if anything, I would do my own stuff and maybe start my own, like YouTube channel or like, news publication, like media, or, maybe even like a social media agency or something at some point. But being in the position I'm in now, I feel extremely fortunate to be in, but I also feel like I'm very well qualified to do it. I'd be lying if I said sometimes I don't have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where, I feel like we all do, but I'm just like, like, am I really that good at, like, what I'm doing, whatever. But, when I actually take a couple breaths and step back, I'm just like, I have an ability to, connect with a lot of people. I have the ability to read a room. Like, I can tell what people want and how to get it to them. So I think I do belong here, but I never saw myself here.
I like that.
Never. And didn't practice it.
I like that.
Came out. That's good. And for people at home, did you have any idea I was going to ask me a question? You're going to be surprised with everyone. I didn't give you a heads up that you really be asking me a question
I had to think about that.
on the
I
spot.
was trying to catch you out with a question, but
I'm a good bullshitter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it. We're coming up on the hour. I believe we're at like 40-something minutes right now. Zach, thank you for joining.
thank you very much.
For the people listening, I am Chris P. This is Zach, a.k.a. Zed. This is The Quick Fix, and we'll see you next time.